Hello, my name is Makayla, and my goal with this video is to help you answer questions including but not limited to what is so odd about odd numbers, what can actually be divided by 0, and what is so easy about pi. The UChicago supplemental questions are notorious for being difficult to answer because they are supposed to be creative and quirky, I guess. And also they're in addition to the personal essay that you already have to write for your Common App, so at this point you might be thinking, how do I make new essays that are clever and original, just as good, and will stand out to the UChicago admissions committee? I'm going to divide the video into two parts. So first I'm going to talk about the why UChicago essay, in which you basically have to answer why are you applying to the school, what is it that is drawing you into the University of Chicago. And the second essay and second part of the video will be about the uncommon essay, as it's called, you know, the strange prompts that have no answer whatsoever to them. Alright, so beginning with the why UChicago essay. So you are probably looking at the page of the essay prompts, which I'm actually doing right now, and honestly I think the first hint of how to go about doing this is right in the description itself, because it asks you, how does the University of Chicago, as you know it now, satisfy your desire for a particular kind of learning, community, and future? Right there are the three details that you should be including in your essay: learning, community, and future. I would, before even thinking about putting this into essay form, just write down those questions yourself and answer them on paper. So what do you want for learning? What do you want in a community? And what do you want for your future? Once you have those written down tangibly on paper, it'll be a lot easier to convey it into an essay. It'll be easier to articulate, and I think you'll have a better grasp on what you want to be talking about when describing why you're actually applying to the University of Chicago. And then what I did when I was answering this is I literally just went onto the UChicago website and I explored in depth. I probably spent hours browsing, you know, the organizations, the majors. I was going through the class catalog and looking at the courses that I might want to take. So go through the website for UChicago and find out what you actually really like about the school. Don't do surface facts you can find on any college admissions website, because I know there's like a ton of websites out there that have the basic stats and figures and images of the school campus. Don't use those secondary sources, just go straight to the primary source and you'll be able to find a lot more information and just useful tidbits that not only will intrigue you more, but they'll also be good to mention in your Why UChicago essay. The important part though is do not pull out random bits of trivia and say that's why you want to apply. So if you see like a random figure that's kind of neat but doesn't really have much to do with what you want to study, don't use that as why you want to go to UChicago, because anyone else could just find that fact and pull it up as well. Make it meaningful. I think it's a lot easier actually to write when it is genuine than when you're just kind of fumbling for something to say. Once you have compiled a list of things about UChicago that you really like about it, so for example, maybe the English major you're really excited about, don't just say that you're interested in the English major, because most of the schools around the country are going to offer an English major. So talk about why the University of Chicago English major is why you want to apply there. Everything you should be talking about should be specific. Never just gloss over the details. Honestly, just the more details you can put in and the more reasoning that you can include that's very like particular to you and your interests, the better. If it's easier, come up with a list of things that you want to get out of college before you even look at, you know, and explore the UChicago website. And that way you can see, okay, these are the things that are meaningful to you, and then explore UChicago and be like, oh, okay, this program is exactly what I'm looking for. So sometimes doing it kind of that backwards way might be a little bit easier. Honestly, all the school is looking for is to see if you are genuine about wanting to go here. If you do have a genuine interest in UChicago, which I'm sure you do because you're bothering to watch this video right now, then you're probably going to be fine. Just be honest about that and it'll show through in your essay. I think, at least for me, the second essay was harder, the uncommon essay, because everyone sees these prompts and they want to be original and creative, and that is definitely the goal of these essays. You know, the admissions committee wants to see that you can think outside the box and apply your knowledge to these very strange questions, and they also want your personality to show through as well. And that's definitely a lot to deliver on one essay. So where do you start with this essay? Honestly, first, don't dwell on it too much and read the prompts. Pick the one that just jumps out to you, the one that you think automatically will be the most exciting for you to write. Don't pick the essay prompt that seems the easiest. Pick the one that seems the most interesting to you, because the whole point is that you're supposed to have fun with it, and if you do the one that seems easier, you might just not seem as invested in it in your writing, so definitely just do the one that jumps out to you. If you Google the essay prompts, there is stuff on Reddit and just other pages about potential answers to these questions. Whatever you do, do not Google it. It's going to distract you from what you might have thought of if you hadn't Googled, and then it'll be harder to think of something original because you'll be distracted with those ideas that you've read online. Also keep in mind what the uncommon essay wants to know about you. And there's a reason it's called the uncommon essay. It's uncommon because it wants to know more more about you, as opposed to the common application, which on the other hand wants to know all about your accomplishments, your SAT scores, your GPA. So your uncommon app shouldn't focus on that. It's not about your accomplishments or intelligence. Obviously, you want that to shine through indirectly, but the purpose here is to more so show your interests. And actually, the website says this. We think of them as an opportunity for students to tell us about themselves, their tastes, and their ambitions. This is definitely not the time to be talking about like all the organizations you've been in or the achievements you've been awarded. More so use it to let the admissions committee know who you actually are. I touched on this one at the beginning when picking the prompt, but honestly don't think too hard about it, because if you overthink it, it's just going to be probably incoherent. Do whichever answer just seems right to you. And I know this sounds like such useless advice, but I had an original idea for my essay and then I thought it was not good. So I circled around to other ideas. I kept overthinking it, trying to do these like very complex things. And finally I just went back to my original idea that I had and it ended up working out for me. So do what just works best for you. Don't worry about getting a right answer. If you read through these prompts, they are not looking for a correct answer because let me find a random one. How are apples and oranges supposed to be compared? Possible answers involve, but are not limited to, statistics, chemistry, physics, linguistics, and philosophy. So obviously there's no right answer whatsoever to this. So just use your own knowledge and personality and that should be your answer. It is true though, the more original, the better. If you write something cliche, it is likely it could get lost in the sheer amount of essays that they receive. So definitely go with something that's, with your intuition, but also unique to you. That does not mean go overly quirky either, because it is obvious if you're trying to sound like strangely complex, and everyone talks about the word quirky when they use UChicago. It's really overused, honestly. If you try to do too much of that quality, it'll also be obvious. And it's more so just a balance of showing yourself without following the crowd and also without trying too hard. And then finally, when you're going about this, remember that these 3 essays UChicago is going to read, your personal essay, and then the 2 UChicago essays, the Why UChicago and Uncommon essay. These are all a reflection of who you are that the committee is going to read. So you want them to all be distinct from one another, and if any of them kind of echo the subjects of the other essays, then it's not going to show you as a 3-dimensional person. So when you're doing these 3 essays, make sure that you have different subjects for each, and they show different angles of who you are, maybe different sources of knowledge that you like to learn about, different passions that you have. Just make sure that they are very distinct from one another. All right, that is everything. So I hope that the application season goes very well for you, and I hope that this has maybe cleared up how to go about writing these essays, and they are very weird to tackle, so definitely just give yourself time to think about them and write them. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a spectacular rest of your week.